as far as men and women working in an organization or in an office or in a workplace where there is no segregation of the opposite gender, this should not be done. This should be totally avoided, because it would break the rules of Sharia. It would break the rules of Islam. And we find many a times that when there is no proper segregation of the opposite gender, there is unnecessary communication, there is unnecessary giggling, and there is unnecessary interaction between the opposite genders. So in an office or in a workplace, we should see to it that there is proper segregation of the opposite gender. When a male or a female is working in an organization or in an office or in a workplace, there should be segregation of the opposite gender. There should be either separate departments for the women and men, or there should be separate rooms for the women and for the men. A separate department for the men and a separate department for the women. A separate room for the men and a separate room for the women. This is very important so that the criteria of hijab, it is not broken. In certain rare situations, if there is no separate department for men and women, and men and women, they are working in the same place, there should be no intermingling of the opposite gender. There should be no unnecessary giggling. There should be no unnecessary laughing, which is very difficult in most of the situations. But if the rules of hijab are maintained and if there is no intermingling, then inshallah it should be fine. But again, I would like to stress and say that the best is to have separate premises for men and separate premises for women, or to have separate department for men and to have separate department for women in a workplace or in an office. And many a times we find that in most of the offices there is no proper segregation of the opposite gender, and we find there is unnecessary giggling, unnecessary interaction, unnecessary laughing, intermingling of the opposite gender. Many a times a man and a woman, they have a meeting in a closed room and they are the only people who are present. This is totally against the teachings of Islam. This man and woman, they are not mahram to each other. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that if a man and a woman are alone, the third person is a devil. So if a man and a woman who are not mahram to each other, who are non-mahram, if they are present in a room alone, the third person is the devil. But we find this, that it is common. Many a times a boss invites his employee, who is a woman, in an office that is under closed doors, or in an office that is closed wherein only a man and a woman are present, or in a room wherein only a man and a woman, wherein only the boss and his employee, who is a female, is present. This should be totally avoided, and this goes against the teachings of Islam. And especially when a woman is working, she should see to it that she maintains her hijab and her modesty, and she does not break any rules of the Islamic Sharia. Generally, it is the man who is the bread earner of the family. It is not required for a woman to work. But if she wishes, she may work, but she should maintain her hijab and her modesty. She should not break any rules of the Islamic Sharia. The same applies to the man as well. He should not break any rules of the Islamic Sharia.